There comes a moment in life when you realize something painful. You are physically at home, but your mind is still at work. You close your laptop, but you cannot close your thoughts. You leave the office, but the office does not leave you. You sit with your family, but somewhere inside your mind, you are thinking about tomorrow's meeting. You lie down at night, but instead of sleeping, you replay conversations. What if I made a mistake? What if my boss is unhappy? What if I lose this opportunity? What if I am not doing enough? And suddenly, tomorrow's problems have stolen tonight's peace. You are tired. Not just physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally tired. Tired of carrying responsibilities that were never meant to live inside your head every hour of the day. You work hard because you care. You worry because you want things to go well. You overthink because you want to be prepared. But somewhere along the way, you forgot something incredibly important. Your job is something you do. It is not who you are. Asterisk asterisk. Your work can be important without becoming your entire identity. Your responsibilities can matter without controlling your emotions. Your career can deserve your effort without demanding your peace. And today, I want you to understand something that may completely change the way you live. You do not have to stop caring about your work. You simply have to stop carrying your work everywhere you go. You can be ambitious and peaceful. You can be hardworking and calm. You can have goals without living in fear. You can care deeply without constantly worrying. Because worrying is not the same thing as preparing. Thinking is not the same thing as overthinking. Responsibility is not the same thing as mental exhaustion. And being busy is not the same thing as being productive. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is finish your work. Close the door. Take a breath. And tell yourself, for today, I have done enough. Maybe you need to hear that tonight. Maybe nobody has told you. Maybe you have spent so much time trying to prove that you are responsible, reliable, successful, and capable, that you forgot to simply be human. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to have an evening without solving tomorrow. You are allowed to sleep without having every answer. You are allowed to leave some problems for the morning, because tomorrow has its own strength. Tomorrow will arrive when it arrives. And when it does, you will meet it with a mind that has rested, not a mind that has been fighting imaginary battles all night. The first lesson is simple. Not every problem deserves your attention right now. Read that again. Not every problem deserves your attention right now. Some problems belong to tomorrow. Some decisions belong to next week. Some conversations do not need to happen tonight. Some mistakes cannot be fixed at midnight. And some fears are not warnings. They are simply thoughts. Your mind will sometimes create a problem because it believes worrying about it will protect you. It tells you, think about it again. Check it again. Maybe something will go wrong. Maybe you missed something. Maybe you should have said something different. But ask yourself, has worrying actually solved the problem? Or has it only stolen your peace? There is a difference. If something can be solved, take action. If something cannot be solved tonight, release it until tomorrow. That is not laziness. That is wisdom. You do not have to mentally work 24 hours a day to be a good employee, a good leader, a good business owner, or a successful person. Your brain needs recovery. Your emotions need recovery. Your body needs recovery. And your life needs space. Imagine carrying a heavy suitcase everywhere you go. You carry it into your bedroom. You carry it to dinner. You carry it while watching television. You carry it into conversations with your family. You carry it into bed. Eventually, your shoulders hurt. Your back hurts. Your body becomes exhausted. But what if someone asked you, "Why are you carrying that suitcase?" And you answered, Because I am afraid I might need something from it. That sounds unreasonable. Yet that is exactly what we do with work. We carry tomorrow's problems today because we are afraid we might need to solve them immediately. We carry unfinished tasks, unanswered emails, difficult conversations, deadlines, mistakes, expectations, opinions, and fears. We carry all of them. Then we wonder why we feel heavy. My friend, you were never designed to carry the entire future in your mind. You were designed to live one moment at a time. So begin practicing something powerful. Leave work at work. When your working hours are finished, create a mental boundary. Tell yourself, the workday is over. Not every task is complete. Not every problem is solved. But the day is over. And that is enough. You can return tomorrow. You can continue tomorrow. You can think tomorrow. You can decide tomorrow. Tonight belongs to your life. Tonight belongs to your family. Tonight belongs to your health. Tonight belongs to your peace. And perhaps most importantly, tonight belongs to you. Because there is something tragic about spending your entire life working for a better future while being too anxious to enjoy the present. You tell yourself, I will relax when I get promoted. I will rest when this project ends. I will feel peaceful when I earn more. I will enjoy life when everything becomes easier. But life does not work that way. There will always be another project, another deadline, another responsibility, another target, another problem. If you make peace dependent on perfect circumstances, you may never experience peace. You have to learn how to become peaceful while life is still imperfect. That is real strength. Calmness does not mean your life has no problems. Calmness means your problems no longer control your entire nervous system. You can say, yes, this is difficult. Yes, I have responsibilities. Yes, I have things to accomplish. But I do not have to panic. You can work without fear. You can plan without obsessing. You can improve without hating yourself. You can make mistakes without destroying your confidence. And you can succeed without becoming addicted to pressure. Think about the most stressful workday you have experienced. Maybe everything went wrong. Maybe someone criticized you. Maybe you missed a deadline. Maybe your boss became angry. Maybe a client complained. Maybe you made a mistake that embarrassed you. At that moment, it felt enormous. It felt like the end of everything. But eventually, the day ended. You went home. You slept. And somehow, life continued. This is an important lesson. Most work problems are temporary. But the stress we create around them can become permanent if we keep replaying them. A mistake that lasted 5 minutes can occupy your mind for 5 days. A conversation that ended at 3 p.m. can continue inside your head until 3 a.m. Someone else may have forgotten what they said, while you are still punishing yourself for hearing it. Why? Because your mind does not always know when to stop. So you have to teach it. You have to tell your mind, enough. This thought is not helping me. I have already considered this. I will deal with it when action is possible. That is how emotional discipline begins. You don't have to believe every thought your mind produces. A thought is not a command. A thought is not a prediction. A thought is not reality. Sometimes your brain says, you are going to fail. You can answer, maybe. Maybe not. But worrying about it will not improve my performance. Your mind says, what if they judge you? You answer, they are allowed to have an opinion. Your mind says, what if everything goes wrong? You answer, then I will handle what actually happens. Your mind says, you should be working right now. You answer, rest is also part of doing good work. That last sentence is important. Rest is part of doing good work. A tired mind does not become stronger simply because you force it to continue. Sometimes productivity means stopping. Sometimes clarity comes after sleep. Sometimes your best decision comes after stepping away. Sometimes the answer you were desperately searching for appears naturally when you stop chasing it. This is why peace is not a reward for finishing everything. Peace is a skill. You practice it every day. You practice leaving unfinished work unfinished. You practice saying no. You practice taking breaks without guilt. You practice being present. You practice breathing before reacting. You practice accepting that you cannot control everything. And slowly, your mind becomes quieter. You begin to understand that you do not need to solve every possibility. You only need to respond to reality. Not imagination. Reality. If your boss actually asks you a difficult question, respond. If a deadline actually changes, respond. If a problem actually appears, respond. But if your mind spends 3 hours imagining what might happen, you are suffering from something that has not happened. And that is one of the greatest traps of modern life. We experience tomorrow's pain today. We experience imaginary rejection, imaginary failure, imaginary criticism, imaginary disasters. And then we call it preparation. But preparation creates a plan. Worry creates fear. Preparation says, if this happens, I will do this. Worry says, what if this happens? Again, and again, and again, until you are exhausted. So the next time you catch yourself worrying about work, ask one question. Is there something I can do about this right now? If the answer is yes, do it. Send the email. Write the plan. Make the call. Finish the task. Ask the question. Take the action. Then stop. If the answer is no, let it go. Not forever. Just for now. That distinction can change your life. You are not abandoning the problem. You are postponing your attention until it can actually be useful. There is tremendous freedom in that. You do not need to carry every responsibility simultaneously. One task, one conversation, one decision, one moment. That is enough. And when you are at home, practice being home. When your child speaks to you, listen. When your spouse talks to you, be there. When you eat, taste your food. When you walk, notice the air. When you sit quietly, allow yourself to sit quietly. Life is happening while you are worrying about life. Do not miss it. One day, you may look back and realize that the emails were answered. The projects were completed. The meetings were forgotten. The deadlines passed. The problems changed. But the evenings you spent anxious, you can never get back. That is why peace matters. Not because work is unimportant, but because life is bigger than work. Your career is one chapter, not the entire book. Your job is one responsibility, not your entire identity. Your income is important, but it is not your worth. Your performance matters, but it does not determine whether you deserve rest. Your mistakes matter, but they do not define you. You are more than what you produce, more than your position, more than your achievements, more than your productivity. You are a human being before you are a worker, and you must remember that. There is a version of you that existed before the deadlines, before the emails, before the pressure, before the expectations. That version of you knew how to laugh, how to sit quietly, how to enjoy simple things, how to look at the sky without thinking about tomorrow. You do not need to become that exact person again, but you can bring some of that peace back. Start small. When you finish work today, take 5 quiet minutes. Do not check your phone. Do not check email. Do not think about tomorrow. Just breathe. Slowly. Inhale. Exhale. And say, I did what I could today. I am allowed to rest now. Tomorrow will come when it comes. I do not need to solve tomorrow tonight. I choose peace. Repeat it. even if you do not believe it at first. Because your mind learns through repetition. If you have trained yourself to worry for years, you cannot expect one peaceful evening to change everything. Be patient with yourself. You are learning a new way to live. A calmer way. A healthier way. A more human way. And remember this. You do not need to earn your right to rest. You are not a machine. You do not need to be productive every second. You do not need to prove your value through exhaustion. You can stop. You can breathe. You can sleep. You can enjoy your evening. And tomorrow, you can begin again. There will always be people who work more hours than you. There will always be someone responding to emails at midnight. There will always be someone chasing another achievement. There will always be another person comparing themselves to everyone else. Do not let their pace become your prison. Your life does not have to look like theirs. Maybe your version of success is not constant pressure. Maybe your version of success is waking up without anxiety. Maybe it is having energy for your family. Maybe it is sleeping peacefully. Maybe it is doing meaningful work and still having a life afterward. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Because what is the point of building a successful life if you are too exhausted to live it? What is the point of earning more if you have no peace? What is the point of becoming important if you lose yourself? Work should support your life. It should not consume it. And if you have been worrying constantly, do not shame yourself. You were probably trying to protect yourself. You were trying to succeed. You were trying to avoid mistakes. You were trying to create security. Your mind was simply using worry as a strategy. But now you can choose a better strategy. Clarity. Planning. Action. Acceptance. Rest. And peace. You can tell yourself, I will do my best. And when my best is done, I will let the day end. That is enough. Not perfect. Enough. There is incredible power in knowing when to stop. The world may tell you to keep pushing. Your notifications may tell you to keep checking. Your fears may tell you to keep thinking. But you can choose silence. You can choose stillness. You can choose yourself. Tonight, when your mind starts returning to work, do not fight it aggressively. Simply notice it. Say, there is that thought again. And then gently return to the present. Your mind says, what about tomorrow? You say, tomorrow can wait. Your mind says, what if something goes wrong? You say, if it does, I will handle it. Your mind says, you are not doing enough. You say, I am doing what I can. Your mind says, keep working. You say, now I rest. And breathe. Because peace is not found by controlling every outcome. Peace is found by accepting that you cannot control every outcome. You can control your effort. You can control your attitude. You can control your attention. You can control whether you keep feeding a thought. But you cannot control every person, every decision, every market, every deadline, every opinion, every outcome. And the sooner you accept that, the lighter you become. Let go of what belongs to tomorrow. Let go of what belongs to other people. Let go of conversations that are already finished. Let go of mistakes you cannot change. Let go of imaginary futures. Come back to now. This moment. This breath. This room. This life. You are here. You survived every difficult day that came before this one. You have already handled things you once believed you could not handle. You have already survived mistakes. You have already survived uncertainty. You have already survived embarrassment. You have already survived difficult people. You have already survived stressful seasons. And you are still here. So trust yourself a little more. You do not need to know exactly how everything will unfold. You only need to know that you will meet life one moment at a time. And when tomorrow comes, you will deal with tomorrow. Not tonight. Tonight you rest. Tonight you breathe. Tonight you release the pressure. Tonight you remember that your life is bigger than your workload. Close the laptop. Put down the phone. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a slow breath. And tell yourself, work is important, but my peace is important too. I can care without worrying. I can work without panicking. I can be ambitious without destroying myself. I can rest without guilt. I can leave some things unfinished. I can trust tomorrow. And most importantly, I am allowed to live while I work toward my goals. You do not have to wait until retirement to feel alive. You do not have to wait until every problem disappears. You do not have to wait until you become successful enough. Life is happening now. The quiet morning. The evening light. The conversation. The cup of tea. The walk outside. The laughter. The silence. The people you love. These are not distractions from your life. They are your life. So work hard when it is time to work. Give your best. Be responsible. Build your future. But when the day is over, come home. Not just physically. Come home mentally. Come home emotionally. Come back to yourself. Because you deserve a life where your mind has somewhere to rest. You deserve evenings without fear. You deserve nights without endless calculations. You deserve mornings that begin with clarity instead of panic. And you deserve peace. Not because you finished everything, but because you are human. So from this day forward, remember, do the work. Then release the work. You deserve to work from strength instead of exhaustion. Give today what belongs to today. Give tomorrow what belongs to tomorrow. And give yourself permission to live in the space between them. You do not need to carry the entire future tonight. You only need to breathe. You only need to rest. You only need to trust that when tomorrow arrives, you will rise. You will face it. And you will do what you can. And that is enough. Tonight, let your mind become quiet. Let the unfinished tasks remain unfinished. Let tomorrow remain tomorrow. You have worked. You have tried. You have given your effort. Now give yourself something equally important. Peace. Because a peaceful mind is not a mind that has no responsibilities. It is a mind that knows when to put them down. And tonight, put them down. Breathe. Relax. Sleep. Tomorrow will still be there. But tonight, you are allowed to live.